Perspective on Florida Gateway College Television is sponsored by Nutrien. Nutrien, feeding the future.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Perspective. This is a public affairs presentation of Florida Gateway College. My name is Mike McKee, and my guest on the program is Andrea Thomas. She is a park service specialist at Stephen Foster Folk Culture Center. The biggest event of the year at Stephen Foster is coming up this Memorial Day weekend. We'll talk to Andrea about the Folk Festival, who's going to be there, what the new things are that you need to be aware of. We'll do that when we come back. Don't go away.
Come make new memories and discover new traditions with us.
People will spontaneously start moving and dancing to the most amazing music.
You can find the kind of music you want to hear.
I call it a cultural potluck supper with the most delicious dishes of dance and music from all the ethnic groups who have settled in Florida, which means it's a huge melting pot, and it's so much fun.
And there you just saw a commercial or a public service announcement for the Florida Folk Festival, which is taking place the weekend of the 25th, Memorial Day weekend at Stephen Foster up in White Springs. Andrea Thomas is a park service specialist at the park, and Andrea, this is the big one. And I tell people all the time that are not familiar with the area, the White Springs Park is probably a hidden gem that many people either don't know about but need to know about.
It is a hidden gem. We actually got a lot of traffic this past year, and a lot of people have returned, and that's the biggest thing that they say is that it's a hidden gem and they're so happy that they found it. We do so much at the park. I mean, we're the only folk culture center left in the state.
Well, and it's important to talk about the diverse culture of our state, because you can be in White Springs, Florida, and you can be at a cane grinding where they're grinding cane and making cane syrup. And then you go down to Immokalee, and there's a Spanish flavor of and a Haitian flavor of culture, and it's such diverse that you feel like you're in different countries, right?
Oh, we do, and that's what the Florida Folk Festival is about. It is displaying the cultural diversity and all of the cultures that make up Florida. So, and that's actually funny you bring that up. We are actually focusing on new communities of Florida for the Folk Life program of Florida is focusing on that. So it'll be immigration, migration, and diaspora of culture. So the Haitian, Puerto Rican, West African, Cuban, Greek, we're going to have a ton.
Well, and I think people don't realize that there is a huge Greek population in the Tarpon Springs area. That they dive for sponges, and I mean, you can go to restaurants down there, and it's Greek food, but you don't explore that. This is a great way for you to explore without traveling the state, but going to the Folk Festival and seeing all of this on display.
It is, because we will actually have some folks from Tarpon Springs, and what some people don't realize that you can not only see the different cultures and what they do in different parts of Florida and how they live, and then you can also eat lots of great food.
Well, and again, when you talk about the Folk Culture Center and the festival, let's talk about it. You brought a poster here. This is what is going to be on display all over. You got the headliner, House of Cash.
Yes, John Carter Cash, Anna Christina Cash, and they have a special guest, which is Galen Admonson.
Now, these are descendants of Johnny.
Yes, sir.
And so the family, and we got John McEwen and the String Wizards.
From Nitty Gritty Dirk Band. So.
He was a poet.
Yes.
And he's bringing some songs there. Billy Dean, who is from Quincy, Florida.
Yes, and he is a festival favorite and staple, and he does wonders promoting the festival.
Well, and when you talk about Billy Dean, he's a storyteller, and he doesn't mind sharing how some of the biggest hits in country music back in the early 80s were written.
Right.
And that in itself is worth the admission from my standpoint to hear a songwriter, which is difficult in itself, then describing what his emotions were, what he was thinking about when he wrote Broken Heart, or
yes.
some of these great songs that were in the early 80s.
And he does songwriting workshops, so you can sit down with Mr. Dean and you can take a songwriting workshop. We do all sorts of different workshops. It's not just music performances or folk life performances. I mean, we have jam tents, we do have workshop tents, but I mean, there's so much. There's the history from Florida Remembered. We have a huge kids area now, and it's hands-on, make your own instrument, learn how to play instruments. I mean, there's so much that's going on.
Well, and again, when you talk about there's not any, I mean, there's a schedule.
There's,
but if you bring your guitar or you bring whatever you play and you bring it up to the festival, you're bound to run into people that are like you and that are just want to play some music and talk about stuff. And
Oh,
I mean,
yes.
I've been up there the last couple years doing video work for this show, and it's just been really great to see the diverse group of people. And we're not just talking from our area; we got all over the state.
Oh yes, all over the state, actually all over the U.S. I mean, we've got people that come down from Canada specifically for this event, and then this year I actually have a whole group that called the other day coming down from New York. So we do have a whole lot of people that are coming into the area to find out what Florida is all about.
And the festival runs the 25th, which is Friday.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
And Sunday. When does it end Sunday?
About 11 p.m.
So you're not going to work on Memorial Day, so you've got that Monday to recover from the festival. But you guys do a great job because you've got between 10 and 15,000 people
Yes.
that converge on this little town.
Oh yes.
And they're all driving some sort of vehicle because we don't have rapid transit up in White Springs. But so logistically, it's crazy for you guys.
It does get crazy. We've been doing it enough years that we've sort of worked out a lot of the kinks. And we will have first come, first serve parking. You can buy a parking pass at the gate or right outside the gate. You can just park for free, and we've got golf cart shuttles that will shuttle people back and forth. They shuttle them all around the festival. And
Now, is there camping?
no, there is not camping.
Okay, the festival people are able to
Yes.
be up there at the park, but it's not like Spirit of the Swanee Music Park.
Right.
It's once the festival's over, you go home, and but it's going to be exciting for everybody. I know that this is the 66th
It is.
anniversary.
It is. We're the longest running, or the longest state-run festival in the nation, folk festival in the nation.
And it again, there's going to be food, diverse food.
Oh, tons of food. I'm excited about the Ethiopian foodways and the Ethiopian coffee workshop. So I like
You can't
food.
pronounce the names, but
I have issues with pronouncing the names, but I love food.
and there's also going to be artisans up there
Yes.
that are
Quite
not
a
just.
few.
No, we're talking different kinds of art.
Oh yes, I mean everything from the gentleman who painted the artwork on the poster, Vidal Torres. He will be there, and he will be actually doing workshops and demonstrations. He has an entire series of the coquille, which is the little frog. It's a Puerto Rican story. So he'll be demonstrating and performing at the folk life area. We have authors, tie-dye artists that do fantastic tie-dye. Instrument makers, we have Florida luthiers that are in the museum. I mean, painters, beadwork, clay, I mean, any kind of art or craft that you can think of, we have. We have fly tying, pottery, I mean, it's...
Now, how many stages? There's the main stage that's kind of an amphitheater type
Yes.
facility, but you've got several different other stages that are going to be running simultaneously. The big names are going to be on the amphitheater stage, and that's where you bring either a chair or a blanket or...
So we've got 10 stages. And then we have smaller stage areas that we don't necessarily count as main stages. So it could be upwards of 15 if you were to count those. But we have 10 stages, and one of our largest, other than the amphitheater, is the Heritage and Dance Stage. And they dance all night. We're bringing back Techno Contra this year, so that was a big hit last year.
And again, anything that deals with culture,
Yes.
of any culture in the state of Florida, is going to be on display. You got to be everything.
Everything.
Everything in the kitchen sink at this festival.
Well, and so many people don't realize how many cultures actually make up the state of Florida. It's not just one. I mean, we literally are that mixing bowl of the South. I mean, everyone comes to Florida, and a lot of people stay, and their cultures are what makes us so unique.
Yeah, again, it's the Memorial Day weekend. A lot of different things going on. There's stuff for sale if you want to buy a
Lots
painting.
Of vendors.
If you want to pick up a bowl that someone turned as part of what they do, and again, there's entertainment going on constantly. So you show up on, say you just want to go on a Saturday. Is there a separate cost for individual days and a weekend pass?
There are. So in advance, up until the Thursday before the festival, you can buy your single day pass, and it's $25 a day, $5 for kids all weekend, 6 to 16. So one $5 pass gets them all weekend, but the weekend in advance is $50, and then at the gate, it's $60 for the weekend and $30 for a day. Kids are still $5.
Now there will be bluegrass.
Oh, yes.
And we had the Olustee Festival, which you guys are helped produce out there at the Battle of Olustee Park. We had Skip Johns and his band. We had a couple other groups that were playing, and it was kind of a different grouping, and they played new songs, they played old bluegrass songs, and so you're going to be hearing
tons of that.
Tons of bluegrass, tons of mixing different types of music.
We've got poetry, spoken word, rock, country, folk, acoustic, the bluegrass, blues. We have a one-man Cuban band. The Prestige brothers will be back. So
Ben was the one. He was the one-man band.
Yes.
And then his brother joined in, and now there's a two-man, one-man band.
Yeah.
I guess you could call it that.
Yeah, that works. That works.
I wanted to ask you about. You said the children's area. Is this new?
Last year is the first year we expanded the children's area. So now over by our gift shop, instead of being behind the auditorium, the gift shop now has this huge expanded area to where they do performances, the kids make instruments, they learn how to play harmonicas, kazoos, they do face painting, different arts and crafts. It's right near our Seminole camp.
Now, this is basically educational.
Oh, yes.
Now, do kids realize they're being educated?
No. Well,
that's kind of the beauty of it, though.
They probably do, but it's fun education. So they're learning a lot about culture and music and arts and different things. So it's fun learning.
Well, and you don't have to be a kid to learn something about a culture. And again, I guarantee you by going up to this festival any day or all weekend long, you're going to discover something that you didn't know about the state of Florida.
Oh, yes.
And it's going to be on display. Stephen Foster, the center has been in existence for how many years?
Oh, goodness. So 1949 is when our museum opened. And since the mid-40s, because we were the Stephen Foster Memorial. And then when the state park took it over, and then in 1959, our Carillon Tower was completed. So we've been a long time.
Almost 70 years.
Oh, yes. It's been in existence over 70, but the state's kind of
participation.
Had it. So,
Well, and again, we're going to take a break here on Perspective, and I wanted to also welcome the listeners on WCJX and WQHL Radio for being with us today, and hopefully enjoying this, and hopefully they'll get out there. If you're listening to the radio, then you're a music lover, then you're going to find something to do up at Stephen Foster Folk Culture Center this Memorial Day weekend. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk more with Andrea Thomas from Stephen Foster about the festival and about the park and some things that you could help with. We'll do that when we come back. Don't go away.
Come make new memories and discover new traditions with us.
It is 3 days of a celebration for Florida.
There's activities for the kids, there's amazing food, there's crafters, very family friendly.
You hear a lot of mixes of music, really special.
Culture.
Community.
Stories. It's relaxing, it's fun, and it's great people. What could be better?
I wouldn't miss it for the world.
Buy your tickets now at floridafolkfestival.com.
That is wild that you could see everything in that one commercial about Stephen. I mean, literally, Billy Dean. You had the dancing. You had everything in that one 30-second clip.
Oh, they're great. We were pleased to get those this year. So last year we did a big push. Tallahassee helped us, and they came out and did a lot of video footage. So we had promos because it's so hard to
describe it. I mean,
is.
and it's almost impossible to describe it in 30 seconds.
It is. I mean, there's so much that happens out there. I mean, even a 30-minute segment, I know that there's something I'll forget, because there's just so much that goes on.
Right, and I wanted to let people know that the festival is the largest thing that you guys do.
It is.
Probably
behind
behind Olustee as
right.
far as the Park Service and the two parks.
We're the two largest events in the state park system is Olustee and Folk Festival.
And there are several parks in the state of Florida that are run by the state of Florida.
Oh, yes.
DEP, right?
DEP does Florida State Parks and Division of Rec and Parks, so yes. And
well, and I wanted to mention that we were up there shooting some video for a promotional video for the Tourist Development Council. It was a tractor show that was going on. And here, this is the Carillon Tower at the park.
And that was during our tractor show, yes.
Yeah, we went up there, and this is the museum. And it is about the life of Stephen Foster, who was a prolific songwriter.
Oh yes.
In the late 1800s and early. I mean, he died at the turn of the century.
He did. But he wrote over 200 songs, and he paved the way for copyright laws. I mean, he didn't have much of a benefit from it during his lifetime, but he paved the way for how musicians copyright now.
There you see a portrait of him.
Oh yes, that's Beautiful Dreamer.
Yeah, and it is really special. I mean, the day we were there, and again, you see pianos, and you see there's these all work, and sometimes the museum has players up there. But there were some kids from the Boys Ranch that were up there, and I sang "Oh Susanna," and they said, "He wrote that?" And you don't realize the body of work that Stephen Foster. Oh, there's the Camptown Races, I believe.
Camptown Races diorama, yes. And the little horses will go by soon. And it's amazing the craftsmanship of these dioramas because they're still almost all original. There's just a few
My old
pieces
Kentucky
parts.
home. Well, I think it's the University of Kentucky's theme song.
And the state of Kentucky, and then that's our state song,
Yep.
is Way Down Upon the Swanee River, or Old Folks at Home, however you say it. So.
Yeah, and so let's talk a little history. Stephen Foster never came to Florida.
No, he never visited Florida. The story goes as he was looking for a two-syllable word to fit in his song. And so what he did was he put a map out, and we actually have the desk in the museum to where he and his brother sat down and penned it all. And they looked at a map, and Way Down Upon the Petey River didn't really work out, so they picked Way Down Upon the Swanee River, and he changed the spelling so that it was phonetically spelled. And that's why on a lot of our plaques at the dioramas, people will say, "You've spelled this incorrectly." It's actually how Stephen Foster spelled it. He spelled it the way it sounded when people spoke.
Yeah, so by being on a map or looking at a map, again, he was from Pittsburgh.
Yes.
So a lot of the stuff he wrote was in Pittsburgh. And again, had never been to the Swanee River, never been to White Springs, but some folks in White Springs thought, why not?
Right, it was Josiah Lily, Lilly Pharmaceuticals up in Indiana, was such a huge fan of Stephen Foster. He came to see the Swanee River, and while he and a few others, like Miss Lillian Saunders, decided they found the prettiest place on the Swanee, and they made it to
and over the years, there was a bathhouse up there.
At our spring house.
But that's where I believe Franklin Roosevelt came at one time because there was a supposed healing powers in the springs that were up there.
Yes, and we were actually, a funny thing, so the bathhouse and the White Silver Spring was actually, we were one of the top tourist destinations in the Victorian times for Florida.
Well, and Florida was not, I mean,
not the place you wanted to be.
You look at the interstate system now, and you get to Florida and White Springs, Lake City, that was it.
It was.
Lake City was bigger than Miami back in those days because there was no way to get there except by horse and buggy, and the roads weren't very good, and so But no, it's interesting when you go to Stephen Foster. The museum is somewhere you can spend about 2 hours going through easily.
Oh yes, oh yes. I mean, the history that's there, and if you saw the lady in the one video shot, her name is Pat Cromer, and she is
an expert.
She is. She really is. She is our museum docent, and she is phenomenal. And the history she knows is just great.
Well, and she'll correct you too. If you say something, because
Yes.
I thought I knew a lot about Stephen Foster when I went up there, and I just kind of threw some what I thought were facts, and she said, no, that's not true. But she's sweet lady, and it's a great experience. I know that most exposure to this park is done through elementary trips.
Yes.
But it's good to go, even if you're an adult who's never been there.
You should really
take
go.
a trip up there, and maybe not the festival weekend. When
you can come to the festival too.
Yeah, when it's crazy. But spend a little bit of time out there. There's a gift shop. I mean, you've added so many different things. And there's a good chance there may be some demonstration going on up there when you're up there.
Oh yeah, and we normally have crafters in the cabins as well. So we've got our blacksmith, our leather worker. We're actually starting kids pottery classes every Wednesday after Folk Festival ends. So then we'll start bringing the adult pottery classes in. We've got quilting, fibers, jewelry making. I mean, there's tons of workshops that are going on and tons of things to learn. And basically, any time of the year you can come up there and immerse yourself in well, the real Florida and things to do.
Well, and again, the park is open
365 days of the year.
Yep, and so there's a thing that the park needs help with now. And when you go up to Stephen Foster, you saw the shot that we showed you of the Carillon Tower, and that's just that giant tower that sits in the middle of the property, and it has a tubular bell system inside of it. There it is. This bell system got struck by lightning?
It did last summer, and we're actually the world's largest tubular bell system. And well, right now we can't claim it because it's not working after the lightning strike. So we have started a GoFundMe page, or our citizen support organization has started a GoFundMe page. So it's gofundme.com/SFCSO, and you can Google us too. It's on our Facebook as well. But we're in the process of raising about $87,000 to get the bells to play again. So we have over 97 bells. In each bell, the wires that come out of it are over 2 miles long for each wire. So we've been looking for an electrical short for quite some time. We've had some electrical engineers out there, and I believe it's been found, and we know what needs to be done, and we spoke with Vernden Company.
Now, let's talk about that too. The company that actually built this is still in existence.
Deegan is and it isn't. So we were their final and their largest, but Vernden Company is the one that built our keyboard and the player system. So the bells that being installed was Deegan, but they worked hand in hand because it's Cincinnati and Chicago. They're only a few hours away. So Vernden is the one that has taken over a lot of that, and they're very well versed. Plus, it is their system. So
now it's like, and again, because you can't hear it now, it's a part of the feeling of being up there is when you hear the Carillon Tower bells go and start playing something.
Yes, they normally play at 10, 12, 2, and 4, and they'll play Stephen Foster songs, and they also chime on the hour. But it's kind of eerie. People, when they camp here, that's what they're looking for. They want the bells, and people will actually come up and say, "Why are the bells not playing?" And locals come through and say, "I didn't hear the bells today." So it's definitely missed.
Now, how are you close, or has this FundMe page just gotten started?
It's really just gotten started. We've raised just under $1,000 in the past month or so that we've had it going. So we're starting to try and push it out there and let people know. We had to sort of figure out the whole GoFundMe and all that good stuff, but now we have it going. So
with tight budgets, and Park Service is doing the best they can with what they have, and again, this GoFundMe page will go a long way to help get these bells back to working again. We're going to take our last break of this program. We're talking with Andrea Thomas, who is a park services specialist at Stephen Foster Folk Culture Center in White Springs, and we're talking about the park itself and the festival. We'll give you some information on how to log on to get tickets and buy a parking pass and do all that stuff. We'll do that when we come back. You're listening and watching Perspective on FGC TV.
Mosquitoes will bite day and night, so protect yourself with these tips. Keep mosquitoes outside by shutting doors and covering windows with screens. Use EPA-approved insect repellents anytime you're outdoors. Cover your skin with long sleeves and pants. Mosquitoes lay their eggs in water. Just a bottle cap of water is all they need. So drain, refresh, or cover anything around buildings that can hold water at least weekly, and put away outside items that aren't being used. A message from the Florida Department of Health.
We were just commenting about the Florida state bird, the mosquito. Could be. Andrea Thomas is a park services specialist at Stephen Foster Folk Culture Center. Andrea, this weekend, or the weekend of the Memorial Day weekend, is going to be, again, the busiest weekend. Can people get more? How can people get more information? Logging onto the website?
Yes, they can go to floridastateparks.org, or they can go to floridastateparks.org/folkfest, or they can go to floridafolkfestival.com, and it'll reroute you. You can also get tickets on the website. You can read about our performers, look at the schedule, so you can decide if you can only come one day. Our schedule is up, so you can check it out.
And if you want to call a toll-free number, it's 877-6-FLFOLK.
Florida Folk.
FLFOLK. So.
Yes.
Again, this is going to be a big weekend for this park, and you guys will start back up in September with
September will be the next event, and that is the Old Time Music. So Old Time Music Weekend will be September 8th, 9th, and 10th.
Right, and we'll hope to have you back in the fall to talk about the Festival of Lights that go on every year around Christmas time. Millions, not just thousands, but millions of Christmas lights are on display throughout the park right after the 1st of December.
Yes, well, actually, it'll be November 30th will be opening night, I believe. So we'll be a little bit early this year, and we have a good opportunity so people can think about it until the next time I'm here.
Right, and again, we hope that you'll go to the GoFundMe page to help the Carillon Tower get repaired, to find that short that Mother Nature sort of threw at the Stephen Foster Folk Center. Thank you for coming and being here. Thank you for watching Perspective here on Florida Gateway College Television. And thank you, the listeners of WCJX and WQHL Radio. We appreciate you tuning in on our program, and hope you'll go to the Florida Folk Festival the weekend of the 25th. Until next time, I'm Mike McKee. So long.